change, my dear. And it seems not a moment too soon.
Let's talk about the Sixth Doctor's era. It was bold, controversial, and largely misunderstood at the time. Colin Baker's run as the Sixth Doctor was a tumultuous period that sparked debates and controversies across the run. It was this era that saw a young Chris Chibnall make an appearance on national television, deriding the state of the show.
It could have been a lot better. It could have been slightly better written, especially the last story.
A clip that would probably come back to haunt him when similar comments were made about his own tenure in the showrunner's position. But why was the Sixth Doctor so hated? And how did the character rise again to become one of the most popular incarnations on audio?
Only I would be stupid enough to attack such a person.
Let's find out as we go Beyond the Sofa. Back in the mid-1980s, the Sixth Doctor burst onto the screen with a Technicolor dream coat that could make Joseph's attire look drab by comparison. Coupled with an attitude to match and stories that often left fans scratching their heads, the initial reception was, well, let's say mixed.
And I would suggest, Perry, that you wait a little before criticising my new persona.
His abrasive personality and the show's dark narrative choices didn't exactly endear him to the fanbase.
The script dictated that I should be so disturbed by my regeneration that I was angry and cruel and violent, again, which didn't help the audience to warm to old Sixie, as I call him now.
This era of Doctor Who was marked by controversy, from the on-screen content to behind-the-scenes drama, including a hiatus which left fans fearing the worst. Many believed that the demise of the show was all down to the machinations of the Director-General. But towards the start of Colin's run, there was already a general malaise surrounding the series. I was 6 at the time, and I remember friends saying to me that they weren't going to watch the show anymore because they thought it was too babyish. And that was something that I remember being echoed by parents and teachers at the time as well. A large part of that seemed to be because of how the Doctor was dressed and the perception of the show, rather than the reality of the series content. Even so, the show at the time appeared to have committed a cardinal sin by alienating the very audience that it should have been reaching for. Fans, both old and young, wanted something that felt more sophisticated, even though some of the stories of Colin's era are actually quite hard-hitting. Looking back on the era now, it's easy to dispel at least some of the rhetoric as mistaken. But there's no doubt that it had an effect. This backdrop of dashed expectations perfectly primed the stage for misunderstandings about the Sixth Doctor. Fans prepped for sophistication after the triumphant Caves of Androzani got a shock. A Doctor Who, at one moment, seemed too playful and juvenile, and in another seemed grumpy and unappealing.
One morn, a Perry at the gate of Eden stood, disconsolate.
What many mistook for the mere flamboyance and brashness of Colin Baker's portrayal had a much richer narrative. His Doctor had depth and the potential to offer even more depth, exploring themes and complexities that at first glance are overshadowed by the initial uproar, and whose true value were clouded in the tumult of his arrival. In the twilight of the 90s, as the Y2K bug loomed large, another more creative revival was taking place. Big Finish Productions, seizing the dormant potential of Doctor Who, embarked on an ambitious journey to breathe new life into the series through audio dramas. This venture, beginning in 1999, provided a unique platform for storytelling, unshackled from the visual constraints and budgetary limitations of television production. It was here, within the expansive universe of audio, that the Sixth Doctor found new ground. Big Finish's role in revitalising the Sixth Doctor was transformative, acting as a pivotal catalyst for change. Fans who had previously balked at the character's TV portrayal discovered a depth and a nuance to Colin Baker's Doctor that was previously unexplored. Through intricate storytelling and complex character development, Big Finish offered the Sixth Doctor a redemption arc that television just couldn't. These audio dramas repositioned him from a figure of controversy to one of complexity and empathy, altering fan perceptions significantly.
You've only got one life, you age here in the TARDIS and then die. Me? I shall go on regenerating until all my lives are spent.
This resurgence did more than rehabilitate a single character. It enriched the Doctor Who universe, proving that every Doctor has his day, even if it's not on the screen. The Sixth Doctor's journey from pariah to paragon underscores the power of storytelling and showcased the possibilities of the audio format. But it wasn't all plain sailing. Big Finish's reinterpretation of the Sixth Doctor faced its share of skeptics. Some fans worried that audio dramas wouldn't really give us the full Doctor Who experience. Others felt hesitant to embrace a character that they'd previously written off.
No harm in trying.
Yet for every objection, Big Finish's efforts had a compelling counter. Yes, audio dramas can't show us epic space battles or the Doctor's vibrant coat in all its glory, although perhaps that was a good thing. But what they lack in visuals, they make up for with rich storytelling and character depth.
It's lucky for you they don't have the death penalty for wagging tongues, William Leaf.
Oh, Lord, how you startled me, Reverend Thomas. Oh, I didn't hear you come in.
That's because I didn't come in, you idiot. I've been here all along listening to you and your prattling friend prepare to tell our business to a strange woman who may well be a spy.
Through headphones, the Sixth Doctor's persona was explored and expanded, turning previous critics into curious listeners. Moreover, these audio adventures weren't trying to erase the past, but were trying to enrich it, offering new tales that went deeper into the Doctor's complexity. They became a space where the Sixth Doctor could be more than just his television portrayal, showing off his heroism, his humour and his heart.
10 million years of absolute power. That's what it takes to be really corrupt.
Take it easy, Doc.
For fans on the fence, these stories became a bridge, connecting them back to the Doctor that they thought they knew. Big Finish had undoubtedly contributed to the legacy of the Sixth Doctor, proving that sometimes a fresh take is just what the Doctor ordered. And a fresh take is what we got. Big Finish didn't just recycle old glories, they brought out the big guns, and they sketched out new adventures and new companions and new complexities, allowing the Doctor to step beyond his televised shadow. This brought out the heroism, the intellect and warmth that had been overshadowed in the TV years. In part, the success of the Sixth Doctor on audio was down to one very big change that was made towards the start of his run, the introduction of Evelyn Smythe, voiced by Maggie Stables. Evelyn wasn't your typical companion. She was a middle-aged, maybe older-aged history lecturer with a sharp wit and sometimes acerbic attitude. In short, she was the perfect foil for the Sixth Doctor, allowing him to be brash and extravagant, or kind and caring, because there was always somebody beside him who could be the opposite, if needed. Clashes between the Doctor and the companion are nothing new, but with Evelyn we saw what would happen in a relationship between people who were really two sides of the same coin.
Back there, you said.
You know, I think we're in a chapel.
It's hard to tell in this light.
See? The altar over there?
Could be a church.
No, I don't think so. This is a room within a larger building. You can hear from the acoustics we're at least 12 feet off ground level.
Clever clogs.
Making the most of the clues given to me.
And this dynamic shifted the storytelling paradigm significantly. Through Evelyn, we saw a softer, more compassionate side to the Sixth Doctor. Their relationship was built on mutual respect and intellect, which was a stark contrast to the dynamics seen in the TV series.
Just give my lunch to the fish. Can't I change into something more comfortable?
Certainly not. Blue is the official colour of mourning on Necros, and women's legs are to be covered at all times.
In audio dramas like The Marian Conspiracy, we're treated to this unique companionship that brings out the best in the Doctor, allowing him to demonstrate empathy and understanding in ways we hadn't seen that sort of stuff before. This character development was critical. It allowed us to see layers of the Sixth Doctor that were always there. They were bubbling under the surface, waiting to be explored, but they were often missed. Evelyn Smythe's introduction was a masterstroke by Big Finish, serving as a conduit for deeper, more emotionally resonant stories. Through her, the Sixth Doctor's narrative arc wasn't just extended, but enriched, proving that with the right companion, even the most misunderstood Doctor can shine. Diving into the Big Finish universe, the Sixth Doctor's adventures take us on a journey that's both familiar but astonishingly fresh at the same time. His stories are a vibrant collection that not only reflects past criticisms, but also highlights his heroism and his complexity. We first meet Evelyn in the Marian Conspiracy, which does wonders for the Doctor, showcasing a nurturing side as he guides Evelyn through a tumultuous period in history. In Davros, we're treated to a gripping narrative that pits the Doctor against his old enemies, showing his moral fortitude. Doctor Who and the Pirates, to me, stands out as a true gem in the Sixth Doctor's Big Finish adventures. It's possibly one of my favourite stories from this time, maybe of all time in the Big Finish canon. It's a unique concoction of humour and storytelling, and it's a narrative that sees the Doctor in a swashbuckling pirate setting, complete with musical numbers, and then you add that layer of charm and comedy, which is rarely explored in Doctor Who.
Stop talking! And you, start talking!
I beg your pardon, are you addressing me?
Yes, I am. You lily-livered, foul-coated, spicy-smelling scoundrel! Come here! So, trying to hide from Red Jasper, were you?
Of course not. I was merely examining these barrels to see if they would make a good addition to your booty.
Oh, robbing me now.
And I think they will.
This story skillfully navigates between light-hearted moments and deeper emotional themes, presenting the Doctor as both a figure of fun and a compassionate hero. The juxtaposition of singing pirates with the more serious undertones of bravery and sacrifice and the Doctor's own moral compass makes for an unforgettable listening experience. It's in this audio drama that the Sixth Doctor's character truly shines, and the twist ending is emotional and heartfelt, and it really places the story onto a new level. Meanwhile, Jubilee confronts the darker aspect of heroism and legacy, providing a thought-provoking look at the Doctor's impact. A notable correction made possible through audio is the inclusion of the Brigadier alongside the Doctor for the first time in The Spectre of Lanyon Moor. This meeting was a missed opportunity on television, but Big Finish adeptly bridges this gap, enriching the Doctor's world and rectifying past oversights. One pivotal moment in the Big Finish catalogue that truly marks the Sixth Doctor's rehabilitation is the release of the Holy Terror. This story, blending dark humour with a compelling narrative, showcases the Doctor's complexity and range beyond the caricature often criticised on television. Fans experienced a Doctor Who could navigate both the absurd and the profound, engaging listeners with a depth of emotion and intellect that had been glimpsed before but not really fully explored in his TV tenure. The Holy Terror not only captivated audience, but significantly shifted fan perception, illustrating the untapped potential of the Sixth Doctor and setting a new standard for his stories in audio format. The inclusion of Frobisher could very easily have been this story's downfall, but it's used to great effect here, and it shows how the characters from comic books can still create a well-thought-out, well-paced, and thought-provoking story. One of the upsides of Big Finish is that they've been able to address the Sixth Doctor era's narrative controversies by exploring and resolving plot threads left dangling in or inadequately explored in the TV series. They've filled in gaps in the lore, providing closure for unresolved storylines and introducing new compelling characters who bring out the best in the Doctor. This approach has turned many skeptics into fans, transforming lingering doubts into a renewed appreciation for the Sixth Doctor's unique contribution to the Doctor Who legacy.
Perhaps you should see a doctor.
Are you trying to be funny?
Through thoughtful storytelling and character development, Big Finish has not only navigated the challenges, but also redefined the Sixth Doctor's era for a new generation of listeners, proving that, like I said before, every Doctor has his day, even if it comes through the speakers rather than through the screen. The Sixth Doctor's legacy risked being confined to his contentious TV portrayal, where his vibrant coat often spoke louder than his actions. This narrow view threatened to overshadow a true complexity and the contribution to the Doctor Who universe. Big Finish's portrayal of the Sixth Doctor has ushered in a renaissance of appreciation and love for this once polarising figure. Fan testimonials and critical reassessments now celebrate his depth, his width, his emotional complexity, attributes that were always part of the character, but that were brought to the fore through the audio dramas.
And it seems not a moment too soon.
This newfound admiration underscores the transformative power of storytelling and perspective, proving that with patience and creativity, even the most misunderstood characters can find redemption in the hearts of their audience. That's what I think. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about the Sixth Doctor? Is he a favourite, or would you just, leave him consigned to the history books? Let me know. But for now, that's it for this video. I want to thank you ever so much for coming along and watching and being a part of this channel. And I hope that you can join me again when we go beyond the sofa.